Good evening, good afternoon, and good morning, everybody. How are you doing today? Uh, Sorry, I know it's a Friday. This is kind of a little impromptu stream. I decided to throw on tonight just to chat a little bit. And I needed to open up the box that just arrived so I can make sure that all the parts that I think are here are here. So that tomorrow's stream can actually go off without a hitch. Um, so I just wanted to reach out and chat with everybody a little bit tonight and just going to test a couple of things out. You'll notice on the bottom left, right, over here, stream is a Tensor 3D logo. They are the ones, it's not like a full sponsorship or anything like that. I didn't get anything for free from them, but they did give me a good deal. They're a small husband-wife business in Colorado. Uh, they were out at Rocky Mountain Rep Rat Fest, and they were the ones where I bought the frame from. So I reached out to them to see what they had as far as Voron kits, because they've been around for any length of time. Yeah, I mean, just you know, anytime we can get more vendors into the space, gives us more options, gives us more opportunities. Vendor A may not have something more, but B, C, or D may. Or vendor A may be out of stock of something, or the other vendors may have it. So the more vendors that we are aware of and know about and patronage, better off we are all the way around. So with that, um, we will get into the box that they did provide and a couple of other things. I just figured it's an impromptu stream. Whoever shows up, shows up. They might get a little bit of a first look at it. So, in Subsector, I am so glad you're here. Are you out driving tonight, or are you actually at home just chilling out? Yeah, you're probably going, oh, crap, Digital Dragon's on. Is it only Tuesday? No, uh, my wife suggested that I open the box up on stream, and like I said, I really want to make sure that everything I think is in the box is in the box, and nothing got damaged in shipping. The box looks good, so I don't think there was anything damaged. I just wanted to take it right. Hey, Tactile 3D Pictures, how are you doing this evening? Thank you for showing up and chatting a little bit tonight. As I was mentioning to everybody that's already here, this is kind of an impromptu stream, just kind of jumping on for a few. Oh, okay, nice. Yeah. So, yeah, don't want to be out and driving around in ugly weather. Hey, Ugly Moo, how are you doing this evening? Thank you for joining and thank you for the follow. So, yeah, without further ado, let's get into a couple of things here tonight. It's going to be really laid back. I really don't have any agenda. Just wanted to figure if I'm going to open a box and as excited as I am, I just want to get everybody else excited as well. And the actual build will start tomorrow. But with that, let me flip screens here. I do want to say you do see Blue Dragon back up here. I got to thinking that I never did my serial video for Blue Dragon. And I was thinking, okay, I'll just take a snip from one of my build videos or the commissioning video or something like that and submit for the serial number. And apparently there's been a rash of people that are taking clips of other people's videos and submitting it to get their own serial number. So the Voron team, to kind of combat that a little bit, now requires you to handwrite your Discord name on their channel and the date. and show that in your video when you go and do your serial stream. So exactly, not really surprising. If there's a way to game any system, somebody's going to figure it out and do it. It's just the way it is. I will tell you that Blue Dragon has now been serialized. I got that earlier today. This is Voron switchwire number 631. Already gone ahead and changed the most of my printers. If I get any type of serial number on my clipper screen, I will put their name and their serial number just so they're easier for me to identify as I'm flipping through tabs. And what it's printing right now is parts to a Warhammer 40,000 Absolver bolt pistol. So if you're familiar with Warhammer 40,000, everything's just a little big. This is an upper. I still have to do the full lower, but I do have a couple of pieces here that have been printed off. Now, mind you, this is just with what I will say basic tuning on Blue Dragon. I haven't finished tuning her, but I wanted to get something going because I figured this one I would most likely need to sand paint anyhow. So, you know, nice good pistol grip, fits well in the hand. Layer lines, you know, if I get the harsh lighting on it, you'll see layer lines. Get them away, really don't see much. So prints are coming out very well on this, and like I said, I think most I've done input shaper. I do not believe I've done pressure advanced on it yet. Hey, Stephen Poole, how are you doing this evening, sir? And just to do a recap, Blue Dragon is the one that we put the LGX light extruder on. So as you can see, it pushes plastic very, very nicely. And everything is coming out. This was printed, of course, in 2 pieces and had supports that went up all the way around for all these little ridges using organic supports, and they peeled right off. No problem. They're designed to go together, goes together no problem, and that would be your actual bolt. In Warhammer 40,000, it's a explosive round, what it is. So, yeah, just going through and printing some parts for that because, well, it'll go well with my helmets. One of the other things I printed off, and this came off in the Mark IV, is Creatix Brits Monster Jar. And this is printed in Polymaker Polyterra Marble Slate Gray. Does have the hidey hole, as Royal Nomi would say. And I did realize this is that it is set so that the lid only goes on in one way. So you just sit on there and turn it, and boom, it'll fall right into place at the right location. And it came out really nice, prints well. Mark IV is printing stellar, as always, as I would expect. So Blue Dragon's going to go, say, back over here in the closet, so that we free up the countertop and the tray that you're used to seeing over here on the side that's got my wrenches and stuff. I'll probably be sitting over here. I shouldn't be grabbing into this too much unless I need to, because I did get a full fastener kit from Tinsel. So with that, go ahead and see if I can get the box up here. Trying to be gentle so I don't knock that print. It's almost done, and I don't want to jack it up. Let's go ahead and get this opened up and see what goodies came in. So, nice Tensor 3D sticker. We'll probably make it somewhere on the printer when we're done. Packing it still, I'm just going to throw it away at the moment. Okay, this is the Voron 2.4 fastener kit. So this should be a full set of fasteners. Got a nice label on the inside as well. It tells us what size is where, and everything is in bags. So you can go in and you can either leave them in the bags or take them out. But these are all the black fasteners. They are stainless steel, but they've also been coated with the black. So everything here is stainless steel. And if they do what most vendors do, they will add, you know, like a couple of extra screws of each kind, but we'll know once we start getting through this. I guess I can look up the bill of materials, but it looks like everything should be there. So we've got that. We'll be working out of this for this build. By the way, it's getting a little crowded in here. I do have rails. Don't worry about this one being out. I actually previously opened the box because I couldn't wait. It came in while I was out at a meeting downtown in Raleigh, and I couldn't help but open it when I got back. And my wife was like, "Aren't you going to open that on stream?" Yes. I had to get it back up. Oh, you're going to print a bigger one of the monster jar subsector? Yeah, that was the standard size, and I do want to print it in a larger size. I may kind of go with, I don't know, 300% just to have something bigger. But yeah, Chewy, the Tensor 3D stuff is pretty nice. What we've got here are the 6 MGN9 rails. 4 will be for the uprights, the Z-axis, and then 2 will be for the Y. And then the Z-axis is a MGN12 rail. And what I'll do, and I might do this, I don't know, you guys tell me if I should do it tonight or wait and do it on stream tomorrow. But what I may do is just rub the rails down with some isopropyl, and then go ahead and put some extra EP2 grease in the back of it. Just, you know, line it up over a hole, squirt it in, it should get in there. But I want you to look at this. I mean, these are very smooth. These obviously have not been broken in yet. And I do need to get some grease in them. Doesn't look like there's much grease in there, but they're also not covered in quote unquote shipping oil. They are branded Tensor 3D. Come on, you can do it. Aren't you gonna... There we go. They're branded Tensor 3D, but like I said, these things are very smooth. I actually just try and inject it into the. So for those of you that aren't familiar, this center port right here that you can see is a grease port. We'll have one on each side, and you should be able, if it's a good quality rail, you should be able to stick a syringe in there and perform maintenance and actually squirt some grease in it rather than having to take the rail off and do it. Yeah, what's spare time subsector? Hey, Silverback Creations. Oh my gosh, I'm raiding with a party of 12. I see Zombie, Daddy Wisey the Creator, um, Chewy, Silverback, Pez Liz. Hey guys, how's it going? How's it going? So this is an impromptu stream tonight. It's not a normal stream for me. Give me 1 second. It is an impromptu stream. I just got my box from Tensor 3D, and I figured I would open it up on stream and check everything out. And I do want to say, hey, thank you all so much for raiding in Silverback. And I see Frank and B and K2 Kevin. The whole game came in. Yeah, thanks for the raid, Silverback Games. I appreciate you guys coming over. I know it was a not dual streaming and raiding into a room I'm already in. Yeah, of course not, Chewy. I'm not sure how he got word that I was online. Yep, the band's all here. Hey, D Purcell, how are you doing today? Thank you for coming in. Thank you for coming in. So anyhow, I got a box from Tensor 3D today, and we started going through it. We just recently got into it, but we've got the 6 MGN 9H rails. 4 of these will become the Z-axis upright rails, and the other 2 will be the Y rails. And then the X rail is an MGN 12. And I'd already opened this up, but the movement on here is buttery smooth, and there's no grease in it yet. So I do need to, I want to wipe these down with isopropyl alcohol, just get any crud off of them. And then I will attempt to use the grease fitting or the grease ports to try and grease these. If these don't work, they'll do the trick where I just line it up between 2 sets of holes and inject right down the middle, and that'll grease them up. And I may do these off stream unless you guys think just go ahead and do it on stream tomorrow. Actually, Chewy, it doesn't really need it on the Z-axis. It doesn't need 12s on the Z-axis because remember, all 4 corners are supported. Right? It's a belted Z, and you've got rails on all 4 corners. So it really, I mean, it's not a lot of weight for that gantry. Remember, the 2.4, the bed is fixed at the bottom, and it's a flying gantry. Definitely lube on stream, yeah. Yeah, that's true. I guess I'll have to pull a mod bot and start talking about lubing my rails on stream. But yeah, these rails, and Zombie, did you check these rails out at Remurf by any chance? I mean, these rails, I mean, are awesome. There's no wiggle to them, either rotational or side to side. And they're just, I mean, they're sliding like silk. Oh yeah, they are super smooth. So yeah, I was definitely interested in getting some of these. Yeah. I might reach out and ask him. In fact, he might be on the stream tomorrow at some point. And yeah, cue the Pornhub music. Really, Daddy? But well, if he's on, if Mike from Tensor is on the stream tomorrow, remind me, and we'll ask him what the preloads are on these because it doesn't list it on the website. But I'm curious to see what the preloads are on these. And these are 440 stainless steel rails that have been blackened after the fact. Yeah, no wonder you're banned. So let me set these up to the side for a second. I'll go ahead and bring this back over. So as we're starting to see with many vendors, the Voron 2.4 fastener kit comes in the plastic containers. Everything is pre-divided. Everything is also in bags. these are all stainless steel. These are the, oh wow, these all are stainless steel, but they're blackened, and these are actually roll-in spring-loaded T-nuts. So their kits are all the blackened stainless steel, roll-in T-nuts. So, hey, fat boy, how are you doing this evening? So yeah, everything that I've seen out of this kit so far is pretty choice. It's pretty nice. I am still waiting on the motors. So I am getting a set of LDO motors from them as well. They didn't have them in stock, so they were being drop shipped directly to me from their source. So, hey, Maker Viking, thank you for the follow. Thank you all for coming in. So yeah, this is going to be nice. As I was telling everybody, my little stash that you normally see on the side over here, I'm most likely going to set it up over here so I can still get to my wrenches, and I'll have a few different fasteners over here just in case I need to fill in or what have you. I don't think I'm going to, because this does look pretty comprehensive. But yeah, so I'm going to move that off to the side, and I will have this over here on the bench. And Blue Dragon is going to be back down on the floor here shortly when she finishes that print. So what else do we have in the box of goodies? We've got their motion kit. And they've got two types of motion kits. They've got I'll say a standard motion kit, and then an advanced one or a higher spec one. And this is the higher spec motion kit. And the higher spec motion kit, what that gets you is higher temp belts. So these are the Gates Power Grip LL2 GTs. They do have the Gates branding on them. But these are the higher temp belts. We've got the four 188s for the Z motors. This is the 9mm belt that will be for the Z axes, and then the 6mm belt for the gantry. So we've got the belts, and these should be bearings. This reminds me of days of having to roll coins. These are the tooth idlers, actually. Once again, whole sets are all blacked out. So we'll go through and verify that. We'll have the tooth idlers. We'll have, there's various idlers that we get in here. Some will be, I think there's like 4 different sizes because the motors take a size, the gantry motors will take the Z motors will take one size. There'll be some that will fit into the bearing stack for the Z motors. So we'll go ahead and look at these. Yeah, these are going to be the standard tooth idlers for nice bearings on them, fully blacked out. So these are looking real nice. We've got both the 6mm and the 9mm. These are tooth pulleys. So we'll go ahead and dig these out tomorrow. How's he upside down hanging in there today? We got somebody from Aussie with us today. Is that what I'm seeing? Hey, Otter's Danger Den, how are you doing? Karen Clark, how are you doing? I see you now. Good day. All right, so these would be our tooth pulleys. What we got over here? Bearings. These are pouch hybrid ceramic ABEX 7 bearings. So this would be like the ceramic bearings similar to what Fabrico has. The hybrid bearings, so the outside's the yeah, we've got upgraded flange bearings. These are the 513 by 4. Yeah, 440C stainless steel SI 3N4 ceramic balls. So they're the AVEX 7s and the 513 4s. These are the standard 5mm flange bearings. And we've got 2 packages, those, and then these look like the hybrid ceramic bearings that look more almost like a 608 standard. No, they're not 608, but you know what I mean. I say 608. So we got the bearings, we got our pulleys. Rub screws. Okay, and these would be the big pulleys. These will be for the Z motors themselves. Hey, Season Creations, thank you very much for the follow and rating with a party of 3. Thank you so much for the rating. How are you all doing? What were you all up to tonight, Season Creations? I am really loving these. So once again, these are the 82 pulleys. Knowledge 82 2GT. Nice and blacked out as well. I am really liking the looks of these. This is a very, very nice kit. Rating 7 mud. Okay. Luckily, it's not raining here. So set stuff over here. And then we should have that. You never know when you need packing material. I'm going to put the box over on the side now. Because we also got a set of panels. So this is the 300 size panels that will work for the 2.4 or the Trident builds. Pretty thick. I'm going to say they're like 3 mil. And they do have a film coating on them. That's why they're looking frosted. Scratches. Very nice. Nice clean cuts, no burrs. 2 doors and 2 side panels and a top panel. And then we've also got Sorry about this, guys. Plan to sit them down nicely, didn't work out. Then we've got lower deck panel. This would be at the very bottom of the electronics bay. This will be the base. So this one will go on underneath the bed. We'll have your through bolts that'll mount your DIN rails. This is where your bed wires will come down into the electronics compartment and motor clearance. So drag chain clearance. And okay, so we have two sides, the top and doors for the front. Got the bottom deck panels. I've got two identical panels. I think I might have gotten an extra back panel for the 2.4 because these are both same identical size and cut. I think I might have gotten two back panels for the 2.4 here. For the most part, we'll see this one relatively early in the build, but the rest of these, I think, takes quite a while to get to them. So I'll move these off to the side to keep them protected, keep them getting jacked up. Well, that's what I'm saying. So this piece here is the bed sits here, and this joins up underneath the bed. There will be two rails that support the bed, and this panel gets sandwiched between those two 2020 rails and DIN rail from the back. So this gets held in place. This one is the bottom of the electronics bay. You got the cutouts for the feet. So there's your electronics bay, like that. So this must be the back plates, but I don't know why I've got two. So this may have just been an oops, somebody grabbed two. Exactly, Chile. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I must have got two because, like I said, the only ABS panels that I remember and are aware of are very, very bottom, the top deck, and then the back panel. Like make an adjuster of a back panel back here. Because the sides, two doors, and the top on a 2.4 are all clear. I've got all those. So, bonus. I got an extra back panel. That may come in handy when we start building the Trident if it works on the Trident as well. Okay, and so that's all that came in the box. Like I said, the motors have not come in yet, which means tomorrow, as we look through the build manual, let me pull that up. Yeah, so on the build manual here, one thing that I did do already off screen was put the cube portion of the frame together. Okay, and we did this specifically because this table is just a piece of like 1/2 inch laminated, probably MDF or something like that. But I know that it is not dead flat and it has a curve. So what I did was I put this together. And I'll talk a little bit about the frame. So the frame that you're seeing here, there's a couple of issues with it. It's B stock frame, and I want to make that clear. This is a B stock frame. Okay. You'll notice there's some ends where some of the anodizing was worn off. These holes in the middle, if you get like a Masumi, these are ready to be tapped for M5. These are actually M6 size holes, so I had to tap these all to M6 for the blind joints to work right, which meant I needed to go get some M6 screws for these. Well, they were already tapped, but they were tapped, I'll say, shallower than they should have been because it calls for, the manual calls for M5 by 16. Just like you are seeing right here for these corner pieces, they're calling for M5 by 16s. And I guess it helps. So it's calling for M5 by 16s here. So what I did was I was like, okay, I'll go get M6 by 16s. And they only threaded in about 10 or so millimeters. And that won't work for blind joints because they basically your blind joints are catching the lip and pulling it tight up against the next part. So I wound up having to go in and finish tapping the holes to a full depth of 16 millimeters, right? Which is no problem. I had the stuff. Had these been M5 holes, I would have just used a smaller M5 bolt that I had on hand. Unfortunately, the only M6 bolts I had on hand were socket head cap screws, and they don't work for blind nuts, for blind joints. So now, with that being said, a standard Trident or 2.4 frame will normally go for around 129 to 149, depending on the size that you get. They had these frames at Remerth for what was it? They had these frames at Remerth for $50, and late afternoon on Sunday, they just scratched the number out and said ask. So I asked, and she goes, "Well, what would you need?" I was like, "How about a 2.4 frame and a Trident frame in 300 size?" Hey, Creatrix Brent, how are you doing tonight? And she gave them to me for $40 because they didn't want to have to load everything back up into the car and drive back. And so, really, what I will say is any of these Rep Rat festivals you go to, you can make some good deals on the last day of the show. Just saying, right? Yeah, so there are the holes in the middle. So let me see if I can get, what's the camera views? So there is the hole in the middle of these. The difference is these are M6 size holes, where a standard Masumi, these holes I want to say are like 4.2 millimeters, so that you can tap them for an M5 screw. These are more like 5 millimeters, so an M5 bolt just goes right into them. There's nothing for the threads to catch onto. So you tap these for an M6 and then have to use M6 bolts, and they work just fine. Right? So this frame, what I did was I put it together relatively in place and had it, hand tight. And then I took it downstairs to the kitchen, much to my wife's chagrin. I think she was outside at the time, so I was able to get it done real fast. And I squared up the entire thing on the kitchen counter, which is marble or granite, one of the two. Because it's a flat surface. So there's two things that you can use for a nice flat surface when you're trying to square up scratch built frames, or an Ender 3 frame, that matter. Any printer frame. A glass cooktop for your stove, any piece of glass for that matter, or a stone countertop. So Evil Diesel, I was looking, I called one of the local stone places asking about remnants and said, hey, I need like a 2 foot by 3 foot section. What kind of price am I looking at? And they quoted me $160. I don't know what kind of hookups Nero or Steve builds or some of these other builders that have, stone chunks are. I'm not paying $160 for a piece of stone that I'm going to use to do printer builds on. Right? Well, Evil Diesel had a piece of slate that was the threshold for his fireplace that he pulled up when they redid their fireplace. So he's going to have a buddy cut me a chunk of that I can use up here as a flat surface for building printer frame. But so I built the cube, and then I went through and measured. I got everything laid down, made sure it was square with a machinist square in the corners as I was building it. One of the other things you can do is use another extrusion and hold it up tight up against your, hold it up tight against it as you're bolting it down so that this remains a tight joint. So just kind of lock it in with your fingers and then tighten that blind joint right there. And that will make sure that the sides are even. Right? Or you can use a machinist square if you have one, but a good piece of extrusion works just as well. And then the other thing that you do is once you get it where you feel everything's tight and there's no wobble at the corners, you still want to go and measure corner to corner. Right? So, sorry, my screen's probably not the best for this. Let's see which. So we go back up. So what you'll do on these is you'll measure corner to corner, and then corner to corner. And you'll do that on all faces. And as long as they all are coming out matching, so if each measurement corner to corner on a face is matching, then that face is a square. And then you go and do that on all of them. And as long as they're like within a 16th or less, it's a pretty square frame. You can really work on tweaking it if you really, really want to. We're pushing plastic through an orifice, do however much you feel you need to get the print quality that you want. If you're really obsessive, it could take you forever. Right? So, hey, Creatix Print, I got something to show you. I know you saw it on Twitter, but here it is in real life. Well, streaming life at least. And this was printed on my Prusa Mark IV. And let me see if I can get an angle on it. Kind of hard to tell with that light. Let me come over to this other camera and see if I can get a little better lighting. Oh, but you can see all the details that she put into this when she designed it, as far as the little dents and dings in it. And so this is Polymaker Polyterra Marble Slate Gray. And it came out wonderful. I need to do it in a different color as well. And I have, I just thought about that. CBS. I've got You know what? That might be a good test print when we get the 2.4 done. Because I've got some Sparta 3D Sparkle, what's it? Sparkle Old Copper ABS. I think that will probably look really cool on this. So when we get the 2.4 built, we will print that. I could probably, I guess I could do it separately over on the V0, but I'm printing parts on the V0 for another project that's coming down the pipe. Hey, DB3D Dan, how are you doing today, sir? And for those of you that are joining, what we've been doing is this is kind of an impromptu stream. I was going through and opening the different parts and stuff for the build that we're going to be working on tomorrow. We've got our linear rails that came in. So these are MGN 9 with 12 size carriages. And 4 of these will be for the Z-axis uprights, and 2 will be for the Y-axis. And then we've got an MGN 12. And the company that we got these from is, focus, you can do it. There we go. Tensor 3D. They're down. Whoops. They're down in one of the corners. And if you happen to do a bang Tensor 3D, it'll come up with their website if you want to go and check anything out. But a lot of us saw these rails out at Rocky Mountain Rep Rap Fest, and these things are moving like silky butter. I do want to wipe them down with some IPA, and then what I'll do is I'll grease the carriages. What I'll try and do is use the actual grease ports on either side. That works great. If not, then I will either inject through the back or move the rail off like I normally do, is move the rail partially off, put in some, press some lube into the super lube into the bearings, bring it back on to the belt or on the rail slowly, move it some, then just keep repeating until I feel like they're sufficiently packed. We can work on those on stream tomorrow. The other thing that we got was their Fastener kit. And this is really nice because everything is individually bagged and tagged. And we also have a legend for the cubbies on the top lid. And I opened up the T-nuts here to show these off, but everything in here is stainless steel. This stainless steel. By the way, there's Tensor's website, tensor3d.com, right? And even the roll-in T-nuts have that black coating on. So everything that we've opened up, the rails have been blacked, the stainless steel fittings or fasteners have been blacked, the pulleys that we'll be using have been blacked out. So everything I've seen here has been very, very nice quality. The flange bearings that we've got here are hybrid ceramic bearings. So it's 440C stainless steel and ceramic balls. So these weren't blacked out, but everything else has been blacked out. Now, so how have you been doing, DB3D Dan? Hope you've been doing good. The other thing we talked about was Blue Dragon here. It's been a while, or a minute since it's been on stream. I decided, well, actually, I didn't decide. I got to looking and I realized I never did a serialization video for this printer. So I got it back up here and I wanted to make sure, okay, it still prints well. Well, these are parts for an Absolver bolt pistol for Warhammer 40,000. And I'd say it's printing well. And this is Polymaker Polylight PLA Pro. And it's the Flat Dark Earth. It's the 3D Print General branded Flat Dark Earth. I think I do need to go get some Creatrix Red Polymaker as well. I hear that might be a good one to get. Seek them here, they seek them there. But yeah, everything's printing really nice. And I was hesitant to start using the organic supports on here like you're seeing. But when I printed this part, which is printed in 2 parts, of course, it wanted to put support around this ring. And there's various places on the top of the bolt where it needed support. And the support is almost like the Mark IV. I basically like look at it and I just rub my finger and all I did was just rotate it and that's all the supports just fell off of it. So I'm really, really liking the organic supports on Prusa slicing. Making some more pizza. Nice. So this print will finish tonight, and then when it's done, I'll take this printer and put it away. But to refresh your all's memory on this, this is a Ender 3 turned Voron switch wire. It is running an SKR Mini E3V3. Whoops. Okay, did the stream just drop? Let's say it just dropped. Come back. Yep. If you can hear me, hold on a second. Okay, hopefully we come back. Hopefully we come back and I didn't lose everybody. A lot of people here, and we're back. All right, I apologize about that. For whatever reason, OBS decided it didn't want to be connected anymore, and it stopped. So sorry about that. I apologize. So anyhow, Blue Dragon here. That's the one that the second Ender 3 turn switch wire build that we did on the stream. It is running a SKR Mini E3V3 with a Raspberry Pi in it. The tool head, rather than having a Clockwork 2 standard stealth printer tool head, you might see this little lever up here. is actually running an LGX Lite going down into a Revo hot-end. So that that's pretty nice. The printer's been working great. Like I said, it's been sitting there. I hadn't printed with it in probably a couple of months, shortly after the stream, which would have been around my birthday because we commissioned it on my birthday stream in February. And I put it up on the desk and said, go. And these are the prints that we're getting out of it now. So it's been a trooper and it prints great. Other project that we've been working on, I believe Dan's seen one of these before, has been a baby belt. Go ahead and put this down here. So this is a Rob May designed the baby belt, but Knack 3D made a revised set of modifications for it. And so this particular baby belt is spec'd out. You'll see that it's got a Star Wars belt on it. This one is spec'd out as the Knack 3D edition, and it will have a like a Big Tree Tech Mini 128/64 display in it, and this hole that you see back there will have a power switch in it, and a power inlet will go right back here. And that is kind of the parts that we've been waiting on. So I did get an external power 12-volt power brick, the display for it, the fans, because the fans need to be 12-volt, then I pretty much have everything 24-volt here. The part cooling fan will be a 3010 blower, and then the hot end cooling fan is a 2510. So this is a weird size. So I had nothing like that anyhow. So we will be finishing up on this on the Tuesday stream. Now that I got all the parts and stuff that we can work on getting this one done. So we'll finish up on this one and hopefully make it go burr on Tuesday. And then we'll continue to do the Voron 2.4 build on Saturday. And I'll do another baby belt using Rob Mink's 10.3 version of the files on Tuesdays. There may be a little hiccup in that because he was making a couple of final updates to those files before releasing them. So we have to wait for that. But those are some of the projects that we've been working on. It's as I said, the cave is getting crowded. So let's just do a little bit of a pan and get my belly out of the way. So a couple of things you see over here in the corner. We've got Western One's Crucimini down here. That will be a Western One duck that's on it. I will be delivering that to her at Murph, so she has to go now. The back corner is a Bugaboo 210. And then this was a D-Bot with a 300 by 300 bed. And I kind of thought ahead when I was building it because it's a Voron 2.4 bed. So we will be scavenging some things off this printer. We'll be taking the bed, the heater, the SSR, a lot of the electronics that are underslung will come off of this printer and go on the 2.4. Oh no, Daddy Waz, cauliflower crust is good, especially if you've developed an aversion to gluten. Yeah. The other thing that you may see back here, and this is going to be one of the pipeline builds as well, is a bunch of Misumi rails. So what I've got is a set of rails. Flash you an engineering drawing and all the specs for each of the rails as to where I need to drill the blind joints, because this is going to be a full manual build, pre-kit days, 0G Mercury 1 enclosed version. So I've been printing all the parts, starting to print all the parts. And this is the Polymaker ABS dark gray. A nice profile view of that. And I'm deciding with the other color, I can go, I got options for it. We've got hot pink, hot blue, galaxy blue. Got some KVP stellar blue, which is what we used over here on Fae Dragon. And I've got some stellar red as well from Voron 3D. Yes, this is a full set. This is going to be a complete, like, actually, I had them cut the frames to length, but I didn't have all the other pertinent dimensions to give to Misumi to actually have them tap and drill and do all the blind joint holes. So I will be doing those myself. That will most likely be another build that'll happen on the stream. But yeah, been kind of busy. Got a few things in the hopper. I also have a this is a Trident 300 size frame, just like the Voron. This is from Tensor as well, whether it be stock side. So there will be a Trident build in my near future as well. But the goal will be to get 2.4 done before Murph, and we will take that one to Murph. And I am setting up a table at Murph. I will have a table at Murph, and the 2.4 will come with me to Murph, as well as a couple of other printers. Like I said, Western One's printer will come so I can give it to her, but maybe the Bugaboo will be there, maybe the Rook, which is also on the ground behind me, will be there. So we'll have a couple of printers here. So what's everybody working on this evening? Well, what has everybody been working on this evening? I know we had a couple of people raid over to us, and thank you again for the raid. Appreciate you guys coming over and joining the community. Increase my follower count. I appreciate that. Have you been designing any more new files, Daddy Wazzy? How many pieces is the board cube, I guess, wraparound enclosure for the P1P student pool? did a Cinco de Mayo today. Okay. Yeah, too many. Well, didn't you do the Mecha Godzillas? I mean, you're used to lots and lots of parts. Poster and a plaque. Okay, Daddy Wes, you cool. And are those up on? You're on things, right? Your AFK subsector. Oh my God! Like, did you miss? Like, how much did you miss? Do we have to go through and show everything off again? Okay. Yeah, definitely, Daddy Wazzy. You got stuff out on things, so please go and check out Daddy Wazzy's site over on things. I know he has a lot of things out there for the uh, FIFA and the and soccer that's going on right now. We also have Creatix Brit, who dropped her monster jar out on Hulk's 3D. This is definitely a really cool print. Like I said, I love all the texture details in this jar. It's really great. I am not a painter by any means, Creatix Brit. I could potentially kind of figure out some colors and do an MMU or attempt an MMU print on it, but we'll see. I'm definitely going to print this in that. I said it was the sparkle, the fluorescent old bronze. I think that would look fabulous. 55 large parts and 7 rolls. Wow. And is that all PLA, Stephen Poole, or what filament are you using for that? Just tell me I didn't pop. Is it on? Okay. Well, I think that was all I had for this evening. So the rest of the night we can just chill out and hang out and chat. You did Cinco de Mayo at work? Yeah. I actually wound up taking a half day from the office today because I needed to get something out in the mail. Um, uh, Greg's Maker Corner is doing an LDO V02 kit build and comparing the various kits because he just finished doing a cyber one as well. And he was out looking for an obsidian nozzle and couldn't find any available. And I told him I had a couple here, so I went ahead and shipped one over to him. So he'll have an obsidian nozzle because he likes to do a lot of glow in the dark. And really, I mean, he had another hot end that he could put in the kit, but it comes with a Voron. And so, with not knowing when the obsidians are going to be back in stock, because I know like KB3D was out, I think Fabrico was out, um, Repcord was out, and with them with E3D in attendance at Rapid 7, it's kind of trade show time going on, so there's probably a little bit of lull in getting stuff out the door and shipped. So I went ahead and sent one over to them. So, Critics Bread, did you celebrate Revenge of the Fifth today and continue with your Sith Lordiness today? I've seen a lot of people out on Twitter still posting a whole bunch of Star Wars stuff today. It seemed like yesterday was a little bit more of the light side, and today was a little more of the dark side. Hey, Dutch Dude, how's it going? Thank you very much for the subscribe. How are you doing, my friend? Oh, Prime subscription. There you go. Not a problem. I will take Jeff Bezos's money any day. The Dutch, I was showing off a bit. All my rails are here. Almost got all of the main color parts printed. So I just need to start working on the accent parts, and then we'll be doing a enclosed Mercury G standard size, the 235 by 235 size. It's a big roll of filament. No, the big roll of filament's over here. Three-kilogram spool of Polymaker black. Yeah, this is a 3 kilogram. West Three Woods using a 5 kilogram spool of the cosplay PLA beat. Exactly. Exactly. Yep. Hey Scott, how you doing? Good. Oh, I got myself part up. Yeah, so I was telling everybody that got a few things in the hopper. We've been talking about the care package I got from Tensor today. And I just wanted to open it up and check it out, make sure everything's there. Everything is in the order except for the LDO motors, which were shipped separately. They were being drop shipped. So I'll be able to start the build, and then I'll hold off on actually installing the Z motors until they come in. Yeah, it's a fancy box for the bigger spools just because you've got to keep them from sliding around in the box because of this the amount of weight that's in them. But I do have the MGN 9, I think it's 12 carriage on them. For the 4 will be for the Z, 2 will be for the Y axis. And then this is the Tensor 3D rail. This is the MGN 12H rail that'll be for the X. So moves pretty cleanly right now, but looking at it, it doesn't look like there's any grease in there. So I am going to have to grease these up tomorrow on stream. I'm going to try and use the actual grease ports. Yeah, these are nice. Did you get a set of Tensor rails already, Scott? Or are you still waiting on some to come in? Yeah, there's obviously something in them. I'm going to go ahead and just wipe the rails themselves down with some IPA, and then I'll put some Mobilux EP2 in them. Oh, that's right. He handed you some at Merv. And then what I do is I take a light PTFE oil and I'll put a couple drops on it and just wipe the rails down. But these are 440C stainless steel rails. You're gonna like this. Powers 82 TGT pulleys, all blacked out. Hey, Mod Light 83, how are you doing? Yeah, you do need to talk to Mike, Dutch dude. We had that conversation yesterday, but yeah, talk to him and see what it would take to get some shipped over to you because these rails are like chef's kiss. These are all the pulleys and idlers, and they're just like the big ones. They're all blacked out. What I can tell, everything looks really nice. We've got, by the way, the motion kit, which is the pulleys, is the higher end motion kit. These are the rub screws for the big pulleys. The M5D shafts. You know, I didn't get the anodized DIN rail because I had a bunch of DIN rail here, but I may talk to them and just have them ship me some of the. They had purple. They had purple or pink. I think they had purple. And these are the pouch ceramic bearings. So once again, it's stainless steel with ceramic ball bearings. Very similar to the set that you would get from Fabrico. We got the flange bearings and the standard ones. Okay, nice. So far, everything that I'm seeing here is really, really good quality. It's really nice. I know that it said that the fastener kit was going to be the black kit as far as the fittings. Everything is cubbied out. They do have bags. We do have a legend at the top once you open the bags up. But even the rolling T-nuts are blacked out. I mean, this is just sweet, and all the fittings are stainless steel, so everything should be nice. Okay, so we got the orange ones for the new Merc. Gotcha. Yeah, I need to be talking to somebody about some parts for a new Merc. Like I need to talk to Hector. Him a day or two once he gets back from Rapid because all the Hydra and everything is still showing up as out of stock. I know they were moving the facility too, but once he gets it in, I'm going to need to get some of that stuff. Was this Mod Light? Laughing because it's going to be top notch and crazy. Look to it when I'm done going to house my CNC. I'm building my resin printer. And I'm going to get maybe okay. Gotcha. Ooh, land dispute. That's not. So we're talking about this too. So this is my set of Sumi rails for the Merc. So all of those are shipped in, and I've got the engineering drawings that'll tell me how to go through and do all the tapping and everything. And printing the parts. This is the Polymaker Galaxy Dark Gray ABS. So this is going to be the main color on it. And then I was trying to decide what to use for the other parts. The accent pieces, because I've got hot pink, hot blue, galaxy blue. I've got some sparkle red and a few other things. Oh, are you kidding me? Sorry about that, guys. I must have hit a button. Yeah, I hit the keyboard. No big deal. At least it was a scene switch. Earlier, we got disconnected because OBS decided to drop the stream. No, not the end. Okay, you're gonna go with Galaxy Orange for the accent color? Yeah. Yeah, I may do one of the pop colors. Either the pop pink or the pop blue. But this color right here that you see on Blue Dragon is the KVP Stellar Blue. And I really like that color as well. And for those of you that haven't been playing along, the Voron 2.4 build came about after I won a set of print forward parts for the 2.4. And the printed forward parts are Polymaker Purple ASA for the main color and Sparta 3D Sparkle Fluorescent Pink for the accent. So this will be the color scheme for the printer. Oh, we should see. Oh, there we go. There's some of the sparkle in the fluorescent pink. Okay, the green one you had there was the pot green. Okay. Nice. Yeah, I'm the more I look at these, the more I like them because the purple I had already printed some stuff in for Acetocraft because he's going to do an interwire conversion. And so I printed the parts for him in purple and white. Polymaker ASA. And so I have some of the purple if I need to print different parts or additional parts. And I did pick up a spool of the Sparta 3D Sparkle Fluorescent Pink as well. But the kits have all the functional parts to even include one of the skirts that gets used because it's where the power switch goes. So they made sure to print that one. But I would still have to print all of the other skirt parts, you know, the non-functional parts. But yeah, I mean, they're printed forward parts. All of these parts came out. They're looking awesome. I've got a bevy of other parts over there. We're going to put a Voron tap on this. And I've already printed the parts for that. That is a Fabrico kit that I got. It's going to get a Revo, a Voron Revo edition on it. And I'll probably start off with an obsidian nozzle on it and possibly switch over to a high flow once those become available. I've got a Victory Tech Octopus 1.1 board. Got all the stepper drivers for it. What else? I've got the SB 2209 CAN bus tool board for the stealth burner. So that's where I said I may have to look at, does it fit, or do I have to print a different shroud or something for it? But yeah, I've got all the parts, and then the rest of the electronics, like the power supply, the SSR, the bed, all that goodness, I'm going to pull off the D-Bot because it was a 2.4 bed to start with. And then the Merc, like I said, I need to talk with Fabrico or to see what I can get from them, and possibly still go and get another set of rails from Tensor. So, because those rails are just awesome. They're really good. I like the Honey Badgers as well that I got with the Mercury 1.1 kit that I put on the Ender 5 Plus downstairs. But yeah, the new Mercs, I just think that one's going to sing because I know the frame's going to be nice and solid and square. Will be enclosed as well, so that'll give me a couple of different printers to do ABS parts on without having to do a pop-up enclosure. Yeah, what have you been working on, Dutch? Anything? Yeah, I'm gonna have to, because I do not believe any panel clips are on or in here. Nope. So I'm gonna have to print some panel clips as well. So I should probably get those started on the V0. Okay, so you're going to build a hypercube. Nice, mod light. So what's your color scheme on your 2.4 Skyfire? Yeah, hardwood for the Annex engineering ones. Are those the ones that kind of have like the twist T, like the twist lock little T slot clips? Okay, very nice. Okay, you're doing a red, white, and blue. Nice. That'll be nice. Yeah, so as you can tell, we've got a lot of projects that are in the works. And if any of my streamers out there, as you can tell, I keep playing with this because I am corded with an extended cord. if anybody knows of a good wireless mic, it's not like a Rode or a DJI that's $300. Please reach out to me and let me know. If you're out on Discord, you can go out to the Dragon Den Discord server and find me there, or just hit me up and let me know if you've got any good suggestions on a wireless mic. Yeah, I know Rode has a lavalier mic, and I also know that the Rodes are like almost $200. You're gonna send me a GIF on Discord. Should I look at it now or should I wait? Yeah, I know people say that the Rodes are good, the DJIs are good. There's a couple of other ones are good, but you know, let's just say I've got a lot of builds going on, and it's all coming out on me. You know, I am not sponsored. I am not getting kits to review and build and all that good stuff. So these are, you know, these are me. So I can't go. I'm using a Logitech Brio, which is a 4K capable camera for the main camera. Side camera is a Logitech C922. I'm not there with the DSLR cameras, you know. So Comica Boom XD. Okay. Alrighty. AlvexCon Voron 3.20 Pro. Yeah, I appreciate throwing those out there, guys. That's great. I will definitely take a look at it. And that boom, is that the one that you had on a boom up and over your table, Scott? Up in all black kit for this quarter. Okay, nice. So it kind of sounds like you're doing. So you've got black, some yellow, and blue. Okay. Oh, it's the wireless lab. Okay. Yeah, because I remember you had the boom mic, and then you went to the boom X-D2. Okay. Nice. Nice, nice. And who all out there is going to Murph this year? Go ahead and put these down out of the way. I need this one. Sorry, I'm gonna grab a pen so I can make a note real fast. Yeah, I know it's a long trip for you, Dutch. It was something like 23 hours to get home, wasn't it? Yeah. For my Americans out there, that dude basically did the planes, trains, and automobiles trip to go out the Rocky Mountain and back. You'll be at Murph Saturday? Okay. Yep. I know you were going, Scott. Edge 3D. Yeah, I think I cajoled Westery One into being there because I told her I would take her through some many that I got working again. and I would have it there for her to be able to pick up. And if she didn't show up, I might just raffle it off at the end of the show. Yeah, I've had a couple of spools from COEX Kit Skyfire, and it works pretty well. Uh, I'll say it's not my preferred. Uh, yeah, it's not my preferred, but the few spools I have gotten from them have been really good. Yeah, yeah, and she's supposed to bring Mia with her so I can see Mia. I told her I'd babysit Mia for a little bit so she can walk around. That'd be cool, Mod Light. Now, Scott, are you going to be um, running the um, battle racers and the drag races at Murph and Earth, or who's the MCs for those, or is Sam Prentice still trying to work on getting over for those? Yeah, for CNC, it's a lot easier to use Gerbil. You should be able to use Gerbil for the pen plotter too, or Marlin, either one. Oh, okay. So you don't know. Yeah, I definitely still want to build one. I was talking to my buddy Evil Diesel about it, and he's already sitting there going through some of his old stuff, trying to figure out like how he can soup things up. And I'm like, hold on, we gotta get the files first. You know, let's get the files, follow the rules. No, no going crazy. Mod Light, I can almost guarantee you somebody will take you out. Yeah, I really like KVP, Kit Skyfire, and I've got some Sparta 3D. I've never used Sparta 3D before, but I know a lot of people talk really good about it, especially in the Voron community. And I figured since I was getting a roll of the paint, to be able to print any parts that I needed to for the accessories, that I might as well get some more since it's coming out of Canada. I'm going to pay shipping. I might as well pay shipping once. So I went ahead and ordered um, two rolls. So I got the like sparkle fluorescent red and this sparkle copper. So I'm really curious to see how that prints because I really want to do um come on. I really want to do one of Creative Fritz monster jars in that old copper and see how that turns out. This is a pretty cool little jar. Hey, Timor 714 finally figured out Twitch. Well, I'm glad you figured it out. Not too hard, but yeah, glad you figured that out. Oh, okay. I see you. Got you online. Yeah, Marlin. I mean, Marlin can be used for things like CNC, but like I had a Genmitsu 3018, right? Little desktop. Let me go and break off a bunch of little pokey tip bits with it, which allowed me to at least understand the workflow better. And then I went and got a Shapeoko 3 XL, so it's like a 16 deep, 32 wide cut area, and that's worked out pretty well. In fact, I cut these panels myself on my CNC. So I just go out and get sheets of 3 mil ABS, and yeah, it cuts like butter. Yeah, like I said, Marlin can be used for anything that's CNC, computer numerical control, printers, CNC. But I think Gerbil just has a little bit better focus for CNC stuff than Marlin does. I mean, at the end of the day, you're still running G-code, right? Yeah, UGS. What was I using? It wasn't UGS. I can't remember. I actually had something running on a Raspberry Pi. It wasn't UGS. I can't remember what it was now. But I would send the file. I'd be up here. I'd design it out. I'd send the files down to the Pi. It was down in the garage, and then I would go there. And I had the 7-inch TFT on it, so I would be able to basically say, "Okay, blah blah blah, go," and sit out there while it did the cut. Yep. Okay, you're building a third 0G Mercury 115, or you're building 3 of them at the same time. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. If you race in a league or something like that, yeah, might be. You're building 3 at the same time. Um, you can go through and build one at a time, and that way that gives you the ability to learn from one build, and they'll get easier. Like this particular build here for Blue Dragon, the majority of the build went easy peasy. The 2 places where I had to slow down and I'll say think a little bit is the tool head. It's a little bit if I maybe up, so I'm sorry about jerkiness of that. Is the tool head, because I went with an LGX Lite instead of the CW2 for the extruder, which meant that my tool board mounts were slightly different. So I had to figure out the right combination for the shroud to allow the tool board to mount upright. Okay. The other part was just getting everything situated in the electronics bay and just where are we going to set everything at, because Red Dragon behind me here, the Red Dragon is a little bit cleaner in the electronics compartment because I'm using a Manta M4P with a CB1 module, so it's all in one. So I didn't need a DC to DC converter to drop 24 to 5 volts. I didn't need the extra space for 2 boards and all that goodness. So it was a little easier to wire that one up than this one, just because there was less things physically under the bottom, right? And on my Ender 5 Plus downstairs, that is a Mercury. That one, I'm running a Manta M8P on, and just recently added CAN bus to it onto the tool head. So that cleared up and cleaned up a lot of the wiring there. So the only thing coming down off the gantry is the 4-wire for the CAN bus. The 2 motor wires will get picked up, and then the bed wiring. So the other thing that you can do is build them side by side, and it becomes a little bit more of an assembly line. Like, okay, I put this, I build the frame, build the frame, build the frame. Now I do, I put the rails on for Hydra. I put the rails on for Hydra. I put the rails on for Hydra. And it just becomes a little bit of repetitiveness, but that could be another way to do it. I'd almost say it's probably how I would build it is basically build all 3 at the same time, especially if they're going to be identical parts. You sent me a PDF of the current progress. Okay. Yeah, the nice thing with the Manta boards, or was it? There's the MKS has a board now that has the Pi functionality built on as well. Is you just apply 24 volt to the board, and the downstepping is done on the controller board itself. So it's kind of a no-brainer. It's one concise package, and yeah, I really like the Manta board. Now, remember the Manta, the CB. If you use a CB1 module on the Manta, I want to say there's one pin on the 40 pin I/O connector that's different between using a CM4 and using a CB1. Okay. The other difference is the CB1 is more analogous performance-wise to a Raspberry Pi 3B Plus, where, of course, a CM4 is going to be a full Raspberry Pi. But the build was really easy. I put the base bare image from Big Tree Tech on there, and then built Flipper on it with Kaya, and that went really well. I have a Mellow Gemini to upgrade my switch wires SKR E3 Mini and Pi 0W. Probably do it when I print the Stealth Burner LGX Lite PCB clicky upgrade. Wow, okay, there's a lot going on there. Currently rocks an afterburner with the induction probe, which doesn't play well. Magnets in. So are you doing like a mellow, or not, Mandala Roseworks bed, or do you, wait, you actually have I'm thinking ender wire, not straight switch wire. So you've got the Mark 52 bed, which has stronger magnets on it. Yeah, that might mess the inductive probe a little more. Okay, Mod Light. Have a good night. Take it easy. And like I said, we'll start this build tomorrow at 10 a.m. East Coast time. 0G on our documentation. We just released the CAD files last night. Yes, you did. And it was a last night thing. It was like, what was it? Dutch, like, well, I'd say it's about 6, 7 o'clock our time, I think, when I saw it get dropped. Oh, nice. Nice, good Skyfire. Yeah, 3 a.m. your time. I want to say you were UK's 5 hours ahead, so you're probably 6 or 7 hours ahead. Can you drop that to me on Discord? Check this out real fast. See what next. Yeah, the new PDF doc file. Yes, very, very nice. Oh, nice. And you actually show the part numbers, like the part version numbers. Nice. Um, I could possibly do that. Hold on a second. I need to bring up Discord because after forgetting to shut down Discord the other day and everybody pinging and dropping in, I don't have, I'm not monitoring the sound, so I wasn't hearing everybody popping in. So, okay, so now we go here. Okay, so yes, this is the new documentation that Zero G has just dropped. This is a PDF design, very nice graphics, nice render there. Talks about their Discord and their various sites, what the project's about, who it's for. Machines does this run on is, once again, it was originally designed for an Ender 5, an Ender 5 Pro, or the Ender 5 Plus frames. And when they say it's an easy to moderate in difficulty, it really isn't that hard. It's fairly simple and straightforward. If you can print the ABS or ASA prints, I think that's the hardest part to get over. The rest of it, the instructions from what I was reading the other day when we were chatting in Discord, look to be very good. They do have the links on how to print the files. And there's a crucial note in there. That your first layer must be 2.5. Then all other layers are, I'm sorry, 0.25. All other layers would be 0.2. 0.2. They do have they do have different size tooth idlers out on the market. So they do let you know how to measure your tooth idlers to figure out which specific parts for your spacers you need to print out. So that's definitely a good catch point right there so that you don't have a lot of slop in your belt pass. And your spacers are now marked 8.5 millimeter, 9 millimeter, and 10 millimeter spacer parts. They're all marked and identified with dots. So if you just go and print them all out because you're waiting for parts to come in, you'll be able to do your measurement, figure out, okay, I need these parts, and you can use those. Which hex keys you'll need. You'll need a soldering iron to do your heat set inserts, flush cutters, and all the tools you'll need to get it done. We do have a wonderful cameo in here by Edge of 3D, aka Scott pinup model. We do have the dowel pins. Please, 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 please do not try and force your F695 bearings onto your dowel pins. It will turn out bad. Definitely need to sand your dowel pins down. They do talk about one of the best ways to do that. Chuck it up in a drill, wrap and apply pressure onto your sandpaper. Just get at it with the drill, and make sure you're rubbing that sandpaper along the shaft, so you're just not applying pressure in a couple of points and then you're basically doing ruts in it. Make sure you're moving the sandpaper along it so that you try and keep it even and get it to a point where your bearings will slide on easily with a little bit of friction. Calls out all the fasteners that you'll be using. Talks about your bearing stacks. And there is now shims between the flange bearings, because if your belt is not dead nuts on the spec for 6mm, they will rub and they will fray. So adding that extra shim between there gives you a little bit of play if you get some out of spec. Sorry about that. Let me go off this one now that I'm. It gives you that little bit of play that you'll need so that you don't tear up your belts. Dowel pins go in. And once again, the other thing that I will say is don't use a drill bit, but if you can, either go out and get a set of reamers, and these are straight edge reamers. It's the full set. You can get them on Amazon fairly cheap. What you really need is going to be like 3 and 5mm. But it's always good to have some of the others. I have used the 8s and the 10s for linear rod holes, but not all holes will print. Depending on how your printer's tuned, your holes may not be exactly 5mm for a 5mm dowel pin. Using the reamer by hand, not with an electric drill, but by hand, clean up those holes, and that will get you an exact circle when you use a reamer. Use a drill, it's made to cut, and it's made to grab and cut into a plastic part. Using the reamer, you can clean up those holes, and everything will fit a little bit easier. So the manual I'm looking at right now is the new manual for the 0G Mercury 1 mod. So this is the 4XY top gantry of a Ender 5 conversion to a 0G Mercury. Okay. These are just some tips and tricks that I found as I was running through my build. So if it's a through hole, then you are perfectly fine using a drill. These dowel pins are not through holes. The dowel does not go all the way down through it. It goes down for a certain length, and it basically makes a cut. And there's a 3mm hole that goes all the way through to the bottom, but that's to allow you to use something to push the dowel back out down the road if you ever need to do maintenance or part swaps or what have you. Like if you swap out to the latest and greatest version of the files because your belts have been framed. Right? Kind of shows you that bearing stack, and you definitely want to make sure that you've got the spacer between the bearing flanges now. I really like that they have them called out for left and right on the parts now. And you also have the version number. So that's real good. And this is another one too, as far as where your motor wires go. You really need to make sure that your motor wires come out in the right spot. And if you don't, I mean, you're taking 3 bolts out again, but it's kind of a pain in the butt. But there's also been provisions right here to run a zip tie through. You zip tie your wires, keep them out of the way. Yep, Max your cat. You get all the cameos in here. Tighten the bolts, and remember, do not ugga-dugga these. You can break the printed parts, and then you'll be taking everything apart and redoing it. You need to be tight and firm, but not over tight. And then you'll use the M5x50s to go down through the whole thing into T-nuts to hold it to the rail. Here we talk about the different types of bearings, the dowel pins, the shims, and that's the end of the dock. So once again, the dock that's here is for the 0G Mercury 1.1. So the Mercury is the top portion. Going to the triple lead screw kinematic bed is the Hydra modification. So 2 different modifications. And the thing I like about this, and I really do like this, is I started off with the Ender 5 Plus. I swapped it over to a Victory Tech SKR Mini E3 V3, and then put a TFT 35 screen on it. Not the E3 version, but just standard TFT 35 screen. Then I decided, because the wheels that I got, so I bought a used Ender 5 Plus. When the kit came to me, 1, the glass bed was shattered, so I went and switched it over to PEI. 2, the palm wheels, or the rubber wheels on it, looked like the aftermath of a Yeti mating session. Like they were fuzzier than Dutch's Cat Max. Right, so I had to clean all those up, get them on retention, and I noticed that those wheels were starting to get fuzzy again fairly quickly. Of course, I was running a lot of Toys for Tots prints at the time, because that's why I originally bought the printer. So I decided to do the 0G mod. And yeah, night and day performance, but I could do that whole changeover from the Ender 5, still Cartesian XY, different motors for them, over to the Core XY system, and not have to change anything else. A few printed parts, a few, other, bearings and stuff like that. Like I said, Fabrico has a kit. I believe there's other people out there that are starting to get kits for these, and you can just self-source all the parts from the BOM. But it made the whole top end a lot easier. And I will tell you this, in a Ender 5 Plus, the bed is a lot sturdier, because you've got, well, I can't get to it from here, they're too far away. But you've got 10 millimeter rods with the 8 millimeter lead screw in between them. And the rods are spaced fairly wide apart. So you've got very good rigidity of the bed, and I had no problems getting good first layers on that printer with the V wheels or with the 0G. It was good. When I went to the Hydra system, it's amazing. You know, palm, Z tilt adjust, palm, and then camp. So the clipper. Oh, what does camp stand for again? The clipper. I just blanked. Sorry about that. Basically, it does the same thing that the Prusa Mark IV does. So the bed on the Inner 5 Plus is 370 by 377. That's a lot to bed mesh. I'm doing a 7x7 because it's so big, which was 49 points, 2 to 3 taps to make sure that you got good good range estimation, and on your BL Touch, and it just takes a while. Well, if you're doing something big, no problem. You're going to do the whole bed. If I'm doing a helmet, it's going to do the whole bed. No big deal. But you can use CAMP, K-A-M-P, which is an acronym. It stands for Clipper Something Mesh and Purging, which basically allows you to then go and only, like if I was doing just this part on a 370 by 377 bed, I don't need to bed mesh the whole thing. It would only bed mesh the area that's needed to print this part. And then the purging piece, the adaptive mesh, there we go. The adaptive mesh and purging. So it only meshes the part of the bed that it needs to, and then it'll do the purge right where the print's going to be, rather than coming all the way to the front of the bed, doing a purge, and then going all the way back into the middle at a slower travel speed, to start the print. Hey, West Rewind, how are you doing tonight, sis? We've just been on chatting for a while. We've had a couple of screen disruptions. We've been talking about Blue Dragon, which is sitting here printing some parts, and it is printing pretty well, considering I still haven't done any pressure advanced tuning on it. I think I've just done input shaping on it, and this is pushing the using the LGX slide extruder through a Revo hot end. It's been sitting on the floor in the closet for the time being because I'm just running out of space to put printers. So, but we talked a little bit about this. I finally did go and do a serial number, so this has been serialized now. We opened up the parts that I received from Tensor 3D. You see down the bottom left of the screen. They helped me. We came to amicable terms for the parts needed to do the build. I've got the rails, all the fasteners, the motion kit, and the panel kit. The piece that I don't have yet are the actual motors. Those were drop shipped separately because they didn't have them. They didn't have a 2.4 kit for the motors, so they're having their source just drop ship them directly here. Hopefully they'll be here tomorrow. I have no tracking number on it, but it is an LDO motor kit, so should be good. Yeah, I didn't set mine up to do the Voron purge. I just do one fat line and call it good. And then we talked about, how pretty the colors are for this printer, because it's Polymaker Purple ASA and Sparta 3D Sparkle Fluorescent Pink. So here's the two colors that we'll be using. Very nice. These are kit parts for PIP, meaning print it forward. So these are printed parts that I got from the Voron crew out at Rocky Mountain Rep Fest, which just was the final straw to me saying, okay, I'm building a 2.4. And I also picked up a Voron Trident frame at the same time, so I'll be building one of those down the road. As you can see on the screen, we've got the 0G Mercury 1 manual, because we've been talking some about that printer as well. I have received all of the my extrusions from Masumi because yeah, that's going to be a ground up build. Rather than using a Ender 5 donor machine, it's going to be a ground up build. So I've got, and it's going to be an enclosed build as well. So I'm actually going to be, I just got the cut sheets from Dutch Dude and Turtle Crawler. So I'm going to actually be doing the Ivan Miranda. Masumi cut all the extrusions to length, but I'm going to be going through and marking, punching, drilling all the holes for the blind nuts on that and doing all the tapping myself in those frames. And that is a silver frame. So we'll be using the standard silver 2020, 2020 and 2040 extrusions. And right now, the main color is going to be the Polymaker Galaxy Dark Gray. And I'm trying to decide what I want to use as the accent color. Yeah, are you talking about the bridging over here? So I am using the organic supports. I did let it go heavy just because I didn't want it to fail. I'd rather waste a little bit of filament and make sure that a big U-shaped unsupported part prints well than have it fail or have a really ugly inside and then not join well with the lower part. These are parts for the Absolver bolt gun for Warhammer 40,000. So these are printed in Polymaker PLA Pro Flat Dark Earth. And in fact, you see the bridging there. That's the residual from organic supports underneath all of these. So you see that's really clean. And if I need to, I can take like my file and just file down any of those little boogers that I couldn't get to with my hobby knife. And I'll be able to get a really good fitment there. But this will be one that I'm going to print in Flat Dark Earth, which is the 3D Print General creator spool. And then I'll put it together and probably work on painting it. But I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to use as my accent color. I've got the Polymaker Pop Pink, Pop Blue, Galaxy Blue, the more KVP Stellar Blue, which is this color here. Art 3D Fluorescent Sparkle Red, and Art 3D Sparkle Old Copper, which I really want to do one of these in, but it's all ABS, so I want to do one of Creative Spritz monster jars in that copper. Oh, nice, Forever Night. So you're getting the 2.4r2 Rev C kit. Where'd you get your kit at? scroll back up here and see what I missed a little bit there. Yeah, the first layer for all your 0G parts needs to be 0.25, and then all remaining layers are 0.2. That's critical to some of the features of the parts actually showing up right. Yeah, so this right here is Blue Dragon. This is a Ender 3 to switch wire conversion that we did on stream a few months back. In fact, the commissioning stream for this printer was my birthday stream back February 10th. And then this one's been kind of sitting off to the side a little bit. The MMU, I've got the MMU 2S behind me. Over here on the Prusa Mark III, I will get an MMU 3 for the Prusa Mark IV. And then this is an Annex Engineering trad rack that I am beta testing. They said I could show it, but I can't give any files or anything for it. But this is probably going to wind up on a Merc or possibly the 2.4. Because I really want to be able to start doing some multi-material from an ABS. And yeah, right now that's an 11 lane, and that's a single 250 millimeter extrusion, 2020 extrusion that's built on. Yeah, Franken B. So here's the thing: the IRCFA, you need a Bondtech gear for every lane, or a set of Bondtech gears for each lane, and they're a wider lane, really. Each lane here, got another lane to make this 12. You've got a printed part, right? M5, hold down here to mount it. A spot for press fit ECAS fitting. And it takes a bearing and an M3x8 screw. That's it. That's all it takes to do a lane. Because it's like the MMU in the fact, the Prusa MMU in the fact that it's a tooth gear on your servo motor and a standard bearing. I'm not going to say the size on here for each lane. So it's very, very cheap and economical to add a lane. It's just however long. And there's been people that have gotten a 250 or 300 millimeter extrusion because they had one laying around and they built like a 4 lane on it. And at any point in time, I could slap more lanes on it whenever I need to. Right? So, yeah, it's kind of neat. And all you do is you just take this. There's a guide rail. That guide rail will slide on the one next to it. You just slide it back, put another M5 nut on it, and you just add a new lane. Go ahead and make a few config changes in your firmware, and you're now printing another color. So it's a really neat system. I am using a Ridge Rabbit Carrot Feeder controller board on it right now. I'm still waiting on the Annex Engineering board to come in for it because they're doing a custom board for it. And I'm just waiting for it to come in. So yeah, But once again, the 2.4 that we'll be starting tomorrow is the Polymaker Purple ASA is the primary color, and the Sparta 3D Sparkle Fluorescent Pink is the other color there on the fan shroud. That'll be a purple pink setup. These are the parts that I won at Rocky Mountain Rep Rat Fest. And the Mercury 0G scratch build enclosed is going to be the Galaxy Dark Gray with one of the various colors I have sitting over here on the floor as an accent color. And when I say that, I mean I've got a few stacks here of filament that's coming in my. So, yeah, all of this is ABS or ASA, so that I can do various printers, because there may be one or two that I haven't mentioned yet that I'm thinking of or going to be working with. So yeah, guys. But quite honestly, this is going to be a real short stream. I was just going to jump on, make sure that my new logo that I added down on the bottom left of the screen for Tensor 3D was working, and my new Bang Tensor 3D was working as well. Which will get you guys out to their website. Like I said, they're a small mom and pop out of Colorado, and they are, sorry about that. And they are, you know, the pricing's good. Their pricing is good, and from what I've seen, the quality is there. The fastener kit that I got is all stainless steel. It's all blacked out. The rails are 440C stainless steel and blacked out. Even all the pulleys are blacked out pulleys. So these are your Pouch 80-tooth pulleys for the Z motors, and they're all nice and blacked out. I was going to say anodized, but I don't know if that's a same or similar process on stainless steel. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to this kit. The quality of the kits so far, what I've seen, well, let me rephrase that, not a kit. The quality of the parts that I sourced through Tensor 3D have been very, very nice. The motion system does, they've got two types of motion systems. They have the basic motion system with standard bearings, and then they've got the other one here with the Pouch stainless steel with ceramic balls, so they're the hybrid bearings. So I did get the higher end motion kit. The belts are all higher temp rated belts. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting into this tomorrow. Once this print's done, I will move Blue Dragon back off the table and make room for the fun to start tomorrow. I do have, like I said, the fastener kit, the rails, the panels. I may have to cut din rail or hold off on putting din rail on. I'll have to go and cut some din rail so I can mount the din rail. I bought like 10 meters of it on Amazon, so I had plenty of it to do builds. So I just need to cut some of the length. And Tensor actually has anodized den rail. So you can get it, I think they had 5 or 6 colors. In fact, let me do this at their site. Bring that up. So the Tensor 3D site here, they've got various bits and bobs for different printers. You can shop by printer, you can shop by the part type. You do have filaments and stuff. And like I said, they are local there in Colorado. Grab one of these because I think the den rails. Yeah, here's the den rails. And they've got the green, blue, purple, natural, black, and red. So I may actually order a set of purple den rails from them because that'll go with the actual colors of the build, which are purple and pink. So I think I may order those. You know, I'll cut some for now because the den rail will go on fairly early in the build. So I'll cut some that I have for now and then possibly go and order a set of den rails from have those come in. But yeah, gang, that's really all I had for tonight. I was really just planning on jumping in for a short bit and checking out a couple of things. And if people saw me jump online, then great. If not, I think it would be a slow night. But I really do appreciate everybody that came and hung out with me tonight and worked through some technical difficulties because OBS did decide to drop me offline there at one point. But yeah, if you get a chance, please come over tomorrow morning. I will be live at 10 a.m. Eastern time. And I do plan on trying to get as far as I can before I just have to break down and like, okay, I need to go get food or something. But also, if you can, come on over to the Dragon Den Discord server and join us over there for some conversation. I will be posting progress pics for the build, on all the builds that I'm working on that out there in the Discord. And you're more than happy to do any of the builds that you're working on. Just create a build log and add it out there. And join in the conversation in the community. With that, folks, I think what I'm going to do now is take a quick gander and see who is online and see who might be able to jump over and raid into. We got Mona's on, Astro Connect's on. What is Astro Connect? Gang's on, doing some Legos. Always good. Anybody have any suggestions for where we go out tonight? Where we raid out tonight? Dave Ross is on, and she's always a good one to follow. She does some amazing painting. Amazing. Oh, we got Sid Hersey. He is celebrating 3 years on Twitch all weekend long. He does like electrical projects and fixes and repairs things like synthesizers and stuff like that. So he's got some pretty cool stuff. Let me see, look gander and see what he's working on this evening. Prophet DNA or Astro. I've never heard of Prophet DNA. Westry, what do they stream? He's doing, oh, cool. So he's in the process of doing Darth Vader meditation chamber. Yeah, and then Sid, I just peeked into Sid. He's trying to eat something right now. But he looked like he had some type of electronics project going on. I'm not sure what it was. Lego's profits thing and games. Okay, cool. Yeah, let's try somebody new. Like I said, I'm up for something new occasionally. Let's go ahead and jump over to profits, and I will get that raid set up and going. It's profit. It's okay. All right. Well, with that, I've gone ahead and set up and started the raid. Thank you all so much for coming out. No, not thank. It's one of those nights, let me tell you. Oh yeah, yeah. Thanks, Subsector. I knew it as soon as I saw it. I was like, why did it start? Oh yeah, yeah. I knew it. Okay, there we go. It's one of those nights. So thank you so much for being out here on this impromptu stream. See you all tomorrow morning. Thank you all for being out here and supporting me. And I look forward to a great stream. Thank you all. Peace out.